Hey YouTube, it's your girl Jasmine Marie, and today I'm coming at you with a video to discuss episode 2 of Portia Family Matters. So let's go ahead and dive right on into this episode because it was very interesting to say the least, right? All right, so here we go. The episode opens up with Portia and Lauren. They meet up and they're talking, and they bring up, of course, Lauren brings up Dennis, and she tells Portia how she met up with Dennis. And Portia's like, oh, so how'd that go? And Lauren's like, well, he thinks that you're still in love with him. I told him he can bring a date. And Portia's like, wait, why'd you tell me that he can bring a date? Because I'm not finna have no woman walk up in my house with my man type of thing. And then she quickly realizes that she done called Dennis her man. Sis, he ain't your man no more. So then she tries to, of course, backtrack. And then she goes, I love my fiance. And she starts talking about co-parenting and how she's going to do what she wants to do, okay? And then they bring up Nate, which Nate is Lauren's ex-boyfriend. And then I don't even really remember how it came up, but something came up and Lauren tells Portia, well, that's why Nate doesn't like Simon because of, I think, something that happened with social media, all of the stuff that maybe Lauren went through with social media with the Portia stuff. So then Portia goes, I don't even want to hear about Nate. I don't care about Nate because whatever. Lauren starts bawling, crying at the table because her and Nate aren't together anymore. And then they do this like flashback where where Portia and Lauren are having a conversation. And in the conversation, Lauren is telling Portia that Nate doesn't want her to meet up with Simon because he feels like he doesn't know Simon. So based on that, it sounds like Nate is a little bit controlling because whether my partner knows someone or not, what does that have to do with me meeting up with them if they're my sister's significant other? So to me, it shedded Nate in a bad light. But Lauren is obviously hurt by the fact that her and Nate are broken up or not together for whatever reason. And she felt like Portia was being insensitive by saying, oh, I don't care about Nate. And then, of course, in Portia's confessional, she says she says something about Nate. She feels like that there between Lauren and Nate that there were more sad times than happy times. And as a big sister, you know, I kind of expect Portia to have that point of view as a sister in general. But yeah, so let's move on. So anyway, the scene flips and you see Dennis and his mom. They go to this toy store with Pilar, and sis is just picking up all types of toys, right? So she's getting whatever she wants. You could definitely tell that she's a spoiled child, like she's a whiny spoiled child in a good way, like how a child would be. But I will say Dennis appears to be a very good father. He took her in that store and spent $500 on toys. And I wrote down the name. Hello Rainbow was the name of the toy store. And I'm like, dang, he couldn't go to Target? Hey, he took her to Hello Rainbow and got her some toys. And they had a lot of bags walking up out of there. Anyway, while they were in Hello Rainbow, Dennis tells his mom about how he commented on Portia's picture. And Dennis's mom is like, well, what did the comment say? So Dennis tells her what it says. And she's like, do you see how people could think that, you know, that makes people think that you're still interested in Portia, right? So Dennis is like, yeah, but I was joking. Do I think Dennis was joking? Honestly, I kind of don't think that Dennis was joking on that comment. Because he almost forgot that you were engaged or whatever. I just don't think he was joking. I think he did it to be a little messy, but I don't know. Anyway, so then Dennis's mom says to Dennis, do you think that she really loves him? And Dennis is like, yeah, I guess. And I love Dennis's approach to the Portia and Simon situation. Because even with his mom, he's like, yeah, I guess. And she's like, well, she loved you. And then it was like, yeah, she did. But, you know, he's kind of trying to move on or whatever. So then his mom says, asks him, is he going to the cookout? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to the cookout because she won't let me bring no work. And they translate what work means. Works means another female. Well, he just say a date? I don't know, but whatever. So they leave the toy store and screen flip. Now they're at Portia's family cookout, which is like the last festivity of her birthday cookout or whatever. So, y'all, this was crazy to me. So Simon's at that door knocking. Then people sitting up in their house and they acting like they don't hear the door. So I wondered, did they really hear the door or what? Because that was kind of crazy to me that it seemed like he was out there for like a little minute and they just weren't opening the door. So anyway, yeah, so everybody gets to Portia's little last festivity birthday family cookout, and Dennis comes in. The family's looking at him like he's crazy, in my opinion. Lauren goes upstairs to talk to Portia, and she's like, I want to give you my gift. And her gift to Portia was a certificate with her spiritual, I forgot what it's called, but spiritual something. And she says that the lady is a spiritual counselor for feminine divine power, which was a really good gift. You know, sometimes it's like, what do you give a person who has everything? So I feel like that was a really good gift. And Lauren actually called her spiritual counselor on the phone, and they spoke, and Portia seemed to have liked the gift. Anyways, Portia comes downstairs in high heels, which was a little weird to me because as soon as she got down the stairs, she switched from the high heels to the flats. So it's like, why didn't you just come down in flats to begin with? She gives Simon this peck on the cheek, not in the mouth, on the cheek. I don't know, just looking at the body language, I wanted to make note of that. And they kind of, she goes, all right, y'all, let's go downstairs, which downstairs is where the cookout was going to be. So their cousin Londi, I think her name is, and Lauren, they start talking, and Lauren tells Londi how she met up with Dennis, and just tells Londi a little bit about the conversation. And she says that she told Dennis to bring a date, and Londi's like, girl, what? Why you do that? Yada, yada, yada. And she's like, well, Portia has people, right? The people in her circle right now are all yes people, and anybody who disagrees with her, she just cuts them off and stops talking to them. I'm surprised actually Lauren said that on camera, because I think that says a lot about Portia's character. Like, if you don't agree with me, then I don't want to talk to you. And I think you can always agree to disagree, because just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean that I'm going to cut you off or I'm going to look at you sideways. You know, if you're talking shit about me, yeah, but not if you disagree with me. So then Lonnie's like, oh, so you told Dennis to bring a date, yada, yada, yada. Portia doesn't want anybody around Pilar. And Lauren's like, her fiance is around Pilar. And in that moment, you kind of just saw how real Lauren actually is. And Lauren is just like a regular, average, everyday person. And I really appreciate seeing that about Lauren, because, you know, sometimes you watch these reality shows and a lot of times the people who you're watching just seem so far from the average person. It's, you know, unrelatable. But Lauren is just a person you can relate to, even in the sense of like the average everyday person. Lauren drives a Hyundai truck. It's like you can definitely relate to that. It's not, you know, some top of the line Bentley truck or, you know, something outrageous. It's like an everyday thing. So I really do appreciate that about Lauren, and I appreciate Lauren's honesty in that moment at the cookout. So then so the family starts asking Simon all these questions. They're getting to know Simon, and then Miss Diane says, you know, out of all the women you've been with, out of all the women that you've been married to, what's different about Portia? And she goes, well, Portia, you've been married, so same question for you. And Portia goes, well, I'm fourth time over. So basically saying that Dennis had 3 wives, and that she's wife 4. And I felt like that, honestly, in that moment didn't need to be said, because her mom asked Simon a question. So give time for Simon to ask, and don't basically, I understand what Portia was saying. She was saying, well, I've only had one husband. I'm going to be his 4th wife. So that question more so pertains to him and not because of me and my one. So I get what she was saying, but I feel like when she said that, the family was like, what? Ooh. They were a little taken back that he now is going into his 4th marriage. So I took that as a little bit of kind of embarrassing him to get the heat off of her, I guess. So anyway, at that moment, Dennis comes into the cookout with his mom and Pilar. So he doesn't bring a date. His mom and Pilar are his date. And of course, Portia jumps up and runs over there and is like, beep, beep, and grabs Pilar and yada, yada, yada. So then Simon answers Miss Diane's question and said, well, what I've known in my past marriages to be is I've been a rescuer. And I feel like him saying that is like, don't keep repeating that. I mean, I don't know, even if that's your truth, like, don't repeat that. That sounds crazy, right? Oh, because I rescue women. Really? What do they need to be rescued from? You. So to be like, I rescue women, and even Miss Diane was like, like, she like choked. Like, what? Who do you think you God? Like, I think that that's so stupid. I don't even know the word for that, so I had to only use the word stupid. But I think that that's, for him to walk around saying he rescues women, like, who do you think you are? I don't know. I don't like that. Anyway, Londi, whatever her name is, Portia's cousin, when Dennis gets to the cookout, she like explains how Dennis made an active effort to get to know all of their family. And even though he did really bad things to Portia, that he really did put forth that effort to get to know the family. So he already knows all of the family. So the family starts talking about Simon and Portia as a couple. They're giving their opinions. And I believe her cousin Storm said like, oh, you know, I've never seen her interact with someone the way she interacts with Simon. I kind of feel that honestly Storm just wanted to say something, because when Portia was with Dennis and they were on Housewives, remember that night where I think they went to Miami or whatever, and Marlo and Portia got back friends because Marlo had gone out with Porsha and Dennis, and they were just in the club vibing, and Marlo was like, oh, I love Dennis. And, you know, so I feel like, granted, as the viewer, we don't know, but I feel like the same good time that it appears Simon and Dennis are, excuse me, that it seems like Portia and Simon are having, we've already seen that good time with Portia and Dennis. So Storm, tell us something different. Tell us something we don't see. Oh, wait, there's nothing different, but you just want to talk and on TV, I guess. I don't know. It just was weird that she was like, oh, I haven't seen her interact with anybody the way she interacts with Simon. I don't know. I just kind of don't believe that. Anyways, then Simon says, you know, I feel like I came into a good co-parenting situation. Of course he did, because I feel like Dennis is an amazing father and Portia is an amazing mother, and they do really want what's best for their child. So I feel like the way that those two are, there was no other option but him to come into a good co-parenting situation. He didn't come into a situation where the dad is like, fuck that kid, or I ain't about to be in a child life. He came into a situation where the man really loves his child. So of course that's always a good co-parenting situation. So people start crying at the table and just kind of doing a lot. And then it was so funny because Dennis was like, all this crying and stuff, we had a repast? I thought I came here for a barbecue, and people crying and doing all this, we here to celebrate. So then Dennis makes a little bit of a speech saying, hey, you know, we're here to celebrate, yada, 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 whatever. Let's stop all this crying. You get to see, I feel, what I do like about Portia's family values these last two episodes, I feel like we've really gotten to see Dennis's personality, and I really like Dennis's personality. I feel like he has a great personality. Just like the little shots he throw of shade, it's like just enough shade, just enough this, just enough that. He has a sense of humor, and I think that that's really cute. So then Dennis' mom spoke about, I can't remember what she spoke about, but then she, had a few words to say or whatever. And then the grandmother of Portia family starts talking. Oh, Dennis' mom says something like, there's no issues because we're all here for Pilar, yada, yada, yada. And then Portia's grandma starts talking, and she's like, of course there's not going to be any issues because, her son was he likes the women. He was a playboy like my son was. And of course, Dennis's mom, Momma Gina, she doesn't like that. Nobody likes to hear anything negative about their child. That's just no matter what, especially women with sons, okay? That's a whole topic for a whole nother day. So anyways, then Momma Gina, who's Dennis's mom, she talks about, she does like a confessional. And I will say that confessional look was so over the top with all those diamonds and that little bit of a chest out. Momma Gina, let's cover it up a bit. I was like, oh, she got her chest out. She got all this head stuff on. It was like a lot. Okay, a lot. Anyway, so his mom does a confessional, and she's like, Simon cheated in the worst way. He cheated in the eyes of the Lord, which, I'll get to that as we get down on the episode. So anyway, Simon, I don't even know why they put this scene in it. It was so random. But Simon meets up with his friend Ronnie, and Ronnie asks him like, oh, so how did it go with the family? And he's like, oh, it went good. I think I'm a breath of fresh air. From what? You're a breath of fresh air from who? From what? whatever. Helps you sleep at night, bud. Okay? So anyway, scene flips and Portia and Lauren, they're picking out dresses. So at first I thought they were picking out dresses for her to go somewhere with Simon. Turns out they're picking out dresses for her to go to dinner with Dennis. So scene flips, Portia, let's talk about the dresses a little bit. So Portia tries on a few dresses, and Lauren's like, oh, I've seen you in that, and like the body is too much in that, like for you to go to dinners with Dennis. Again, love Lauren's transparency and her honesty and all of that stuff. So then Portia tries on another dress, and she's like, that dress can make you look pregnant, and you've only been engaged for this amount of time, so you don't want to go from engaged to pregnant. And then she tries on another dress, and Portia's like, Simon loved this dress so much that he bought me this whole line from the person who made the dress. So she goes, I think it's because it's hiding my curves. And Lauren goes, yes, it's to hide your curves, which that is a red flag because it's a little bit secretly controlling, Anyway, Portia gets to dinner. She gets to the table, and she tells Dennis, get up and pull out my chair. And he's like, why I gotta do that? You got a man. And she goes, because you're a man, which I will say, I really like that she said that. Because you're a man, not that you're my man, but because you're a man, get up and pull out my chair. I do think it was a little over the top, but whatever. So then Dennis, he's like, all right, so let's just jump right into it. PJ. And Portia's like, well, God, we got to just dive right in, yada, yada, yada. So then Dennis is like, well, what you want me to do? Ask you how you doing? How your man doing? And now that was shade. That was shade. It's like, all right, Dennis, you being a little shady, like, can't we just, hey, yeah, how's it going? What's up? What you doing? What you got going on? And then let's get into it. You rushing to dinner. Something that was interesting, too, how he threw some shade. He was like, when she sat down, he was like, how much time you got? Because I know you got to check in. Dennis, why you worried about when I got to check in? So anyway, they start talking at dinner, and Dennis talks about how Portia and Simon were house shopping, and he's like, don't you think it's a little fast, yada, yada, yada. He ain't gonna let you keep that house in the Duluth. He makes reference to something about, is he okay with you keeping the house in the Duluth or something like that. And Portia's like, well, I thought that you supported us, yada, yada, yada. And Dennis is like, well, I support you in public because that's what I'm supposed to do. And I just want to touch on that a little bit because I feel like what he said was, I can appreciate that from a man. The fact that he was like, well, I support you in public because that's what I'm supposed to do, which is true. Like, yeah, support me online, support me, on social media, support me. And then, if you, just so that it doesn't look like we're at odds and, people who already have something to say about us, let's not give them even more to talk about. But in person and in reality, let's talk about how I really feel. So I kind of could accept that, what Dennis was saying, but it was like Portia was shocked or whatever. So then Dennis starts talking about how, well, we broke up in January, and by May you were already, April or May, you were already engaged. And then Portia's like, no. We broke up in December. Portia, she's like, we broke up at Christmas. And I'm like, Portia, Christmas is December 25th. 6 days later is January 1st. So you guys broke up in January. So then she tells the story of like, I told Dennis, like, on Christmas, give me my ring back. And if you give me my ring back, then we'll work on being a family. She was like, well, he didn't give me my ring back. And when I asked him where was the ring, he was like, oh. She's like, so that was it. She says that was the end of it because she felt like Pilar didn't need to see that back and forth. Totally agree. But I think that you could work on things in separate households without the child seeing the back and forthness of it. But it's her child. So whatever she wants her child exposed to is completely fine and up to her. Because I was just trying to think about it in that moment. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what she feels is best for her child. So no matter what I say, that's for me and my children, not for how she should operate with her child. So I get it. But the truth is what Dennis said. We broke up in January. Even if it was December 25th, that's still closer to January. And you were engaged by April. How? And Dennis is like, you were still in my head. What head, Dennis? Dennis said it, not me. So then Portia brings up like how he cheated on her. And Dennis goes, you still mad about that? And I didn't like that comment from Dennis because, yes, you cheated on me. So, yes, I'm still mad about it. I'll be mad about it forever. I can forgive you, but I'm not going to forget. Every time I think about it, I have the right to be mad at it. And Portia, I love that Portia was very transparent and honest in this moment, because she was like, yes, it gave me an insecurity. She basically explained how she's getting older. She's, gaining more weight and yada, yada, yada. So, of course, that would bring an insecurity. And he's still running in the same circles with the same people that he cheated with. So I totally agree with her. And I love, love, love that she was very open and transparent in that moment. Anyway, Portia tells Dennis that Portia's like, oh, you told Lauren that I'm still in love with you. And Dennis is like, yeah, you are still in love with me. And I still love you and yada, yada, yada. And he tries to quickly go about it. And then Portia's like, I quickly realized that this isn't a dinner about co-parenting. I realized that this is dinner about an ex, and she's at dinner with an ex. And she's absolutely right. Because I think at that dinner, I think we saw that Dennis still wants Portia. And it's interesting because I wonder if he still wants her because he really loves her, or if he wants her because she's with somebody else and she appears to be happy. Even though he thinks that she's still in love with him, which I do think that she kind of, I'm not going to say that she wants him. I think she's happy in her situation, but I think that she wants that same situation, but with Dennis's head on it. Does that make sense? That's just what I think. So that's just how I feel about the situation. So then Dennis gets a little bit petty, and he's like, where my shit at? I got shit at your house. Where's my Fendi stuff and my Versace robe? And when you drop Pilar off the next time, get your shit and get out, Dennis. And then they ended up leaving dinner, and they get outside, and something, I guess Dennis gets a text message. Portia says it's a naked picture, and you can tell she gets in her feelings about it a little bit. She gets in the car, she calls Simon, they have a conversation about dinner, and Simon says, touch your head. Simon talks about how he agrees with Dennis in the aspect of, Simon says like it's probably hard for Dennis and yada, yada, yada. I don't really like Simon. I'm going to be honest. I just don't. I feel like just watching this show, although I don't know him and it's edited and everything, I feel like there's so many red flags about so much stuff that he says. It's just insane. So I'm just not a huge fan of Simon, okay? It's going to have to grow on me, okay? Anyway, Lauren meets up with her spiritual coach, Lena, and they talk about a family retreat. And Lauren talks about how she appreciates Lena as a healer. Lauren talks about how she wants her family to appreciate her as a healer because she's grown so much. And then all the ladies, they come and they meet up and they talk about how they're going to do the retreat. All the ladies of Portia's family, and Lena poses a really good question. And you know what? When I saw this, I was like, I come from a family of women. So I have 2 sisters. So my mom has 3 girls. My sister, who is the oldest, she's 45, I think, 45 or 46. She has 4 daughters. They're all adult now. Her youngest daughter is 22. So she has a 22, 23, 24, 25-year-old. And then me, I have a daughter, Nyla, who is turning 12. And then my other sister, she has 2 daughters. So she has a daughter who's 7 and a daughter who's 2. So we come from a family of women. And when I saw them doing this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing that they're putting this on TV. Just because imagine how many doors that this can open for. I never in my head had this idea. But then when I saw Lauren talking about it and the fact that they exposed it on the show, now I want to do this for my family. I want to like plan a retreat for all of the adult women. I'm thinking like maybe we can do it in Orlando and rent a house, and we can have a spiritual coach come out and just, a spiritual counselor, whatever it's called, and, just indulge in a weekend of growth or, spiritual healing. That blew my mind. Like the fact that I just love that was exposed. And what blew my mind is that Lena, which is Lauren's spiritual healer, posed the question to the women. She's like, what's their intention for life right now? Y'all, that question literally shook me because it instantly took me to a place of where I am in life right now. And I literally asked myself that question. And I was like, I think my intention for my life right now is growth. like self-growth. So I'm just so shook by that. Like, I really am so happy that that was exposed on TV, because that's just gave me some ideas and stuff that just I want to indulge in myself. Get to all that later. Save that for another day, another video. But yes, I am highly interested in doing this. I can't wait to pitch the idea to my family and make it happen. Anyway, so then the lady starts drumming, and she's like, when we drum, it calls all of our ancestors. And I don't know which one of Portia, I think Portia's auntie, she was like, her auntie was like, this lady must not know much about black people, because we don't call familiar spirits because we believe in demons. Bitch, I tell y'all, I was laughing. I was like rolling on the floor, like off the couch laughing, like, because I'm like, what? She must not know much about black people because we don't call on familiar spirits because we believe in demons. Y'all, that was funny. And then she starts questioning Lena's work and saying just some stuff that was so unnecessary, but it was funny, so that's why I'm laughing. And she goes, I'm going to start singing and praying because I want to cover myself with Jesus Christ, because I don't know what this lady is doing. Anyway, then they discuss if Momma Gina should be invited on the retreat trip and yada, yada, yada. And then Momma Gina, to end the episode, Momma Gina and Portia, they had a little sit-down meet-up, and they're just talking about how basically Momma Gina, she gets defensive whenever someone talks about Dennis. And as I said earlier in the video, of course, everybody gets defensive when their child is being talked about. And she tells Momma Gina, well, Dennis cheated, and that's his truth, and that's the truth. And it's like, and she was like, and in that moment at the family cookout, we were talking about truths. So, Portia, does that mean that y'all should have brought up Simon's truths, that he was married when he proposed to you, since y'all were talking about truths? You talk about the truth that makes you look good, right? But you don't talk about the truths that make you look bad. I just feel like Portia is the type of person where I'm very self-centered and if you're not for me, then I don't like you type of person. And then Dennis's mom says, Portia, you were cheating too. Your mama told me and blah, 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 blah. I don't think Miss Diane would have told her that Portia was cheating. I think that it went like this. I think that it went the way Dennis' mom says it. She said that when Portia and Dennis had some little issue or something, Miss Diane was like, oh, I wonder, is it over that guy? So that's not really saying that she was cheating. She just was saying, like, I wonder, is it over that guy? We don't know who that guy is. We don't know what the situation was. We don't know. Anyway, I think the episode was pretty good. It's definitely good enough to make me tune into another episode. So I enjoyed it. That's all I have for you guys. Y'all have a good Monday evening, and we gonna talk later. Bye-bye.